¿Cuántos son en tu familia? En mi familia, somos seis. So did you understand that first question? ¿Cuántos son? This is the more natural way to ask how many of you are there in your family. It's very wordy in English. How many of you are there? In Spanish, just ¿cuántos son? How many are? How many are? And then the answer, somos seis. We are six. But in English, we say there are six of us, right? So there's a lot more words. Think about this and practice it. You can also use it for us. You can say, ¿cuántos somos? How many of us are there? You know, if you're trying to figure out how many are in your group for something. Many of these questions have the word cuanto in it for some reason, but it's not always what you think it is. It's not always how much or how many. Here's question number 2. ¿Cuánto llevas en tu casa actual? That would be, how long have you been in your current house? So a lot of Spanish students fall into the trap of translating literally. And, you know, it's not your fault. It's natural because how you're obviously going to like springboard off of your own language. That's what's swimming around in your head until you have enough experience. And that's why I'm going over this. These are really useful questions. And these are the ways that you'll hear it from native speakers. So, ¿cuánto llevas? How long have you been? Many students will say, ¿cuánto tiempo has estado? Right? Literally, how much time have you been? And a native speaker will understand you if you say it that way. The problem is they're not going to say it that way to you usually. And then to answer, I have been, yo llevo 6 años en esta casa. I have been, right? It translates kind of like I have been, but you're really literally saying I carry. Doesn't kind of make sense when you translate it literally, and you just have to learn it for what it is and practice it a lot. The next one is really useful. Number 3. ¿Qué tan picante es la sopa? How spicy is the soup? So this one's really useful because you're saying how and then an adjective, right? How spicy, how fast, how big, how heavy, how slow, how long. You just add ¿qué tan, 2 words, and then the adjective. That's the formula. And it actually works most of the time. So, ¿qué tan lento es el bus? How slow is the bus? Number 4. ¿Cada cuánto lees tu correo electrónico? How often do you read your email? So I know there's a big discussion about that. A lot of people don't even say correo electrónico anymore, but that's the official real way to say email in Spanish. But a lot of Latinos will just say mail or email. They're just taking the English word and pronouncing it with Spanish pronunciation. But the focus here is on cada cuánto, how often. So when you look at the words cada cuánto, each, how many. You wouldn't expect that to be how you would say how often. And if you use a Google Translator or a dictionary, it's going to say con qué frecuencia, which is good. You can say that, but it just sounds much more formal. And it's, again, if you want to speak like a native and understand what they're saying to you, it's good to practice these expressions that they use. Cada cuánto, how often. Cada cuánto lees tu correo electrónico. How often do you read your email? And number 5, the last one. ¿Qué quiere decir eso? Let me say that again a little bit more slowly. ¿Qué quiere decir eso? I feel like this is one of the most useful ones, very common, and most new students do not say it this way. It means, what does that mean? What does that mean? ¿Qué quiere decir? Because quiere decir, literally, you're saying want to say, but that's how you say mean. And this one is really useful, and I recommend using this and stop using significar, que significa. The reason being is you can use significa, but you can't use it when you want to say, I mean. You can't say yo significo. You can only say yo quiero decir, or if you want to say he means, él quiere decir, he means, you can't say él significa, because it's like saying he signifies. So it doesn't work when you use it for other people. So it's best to start using quiere decir, because if you hear significa or significar, you shouldn't have any trouble understanding it. It's a cognate and it sounds like signify in English. But you need to get in the habit of using quiere decir. ¿Qué quiere decir? And here's an extra expression. It's not a question though, it's just an exclamation, and you will hear it a lot depending on the country you're in and the people you're speaking to. Hopefully you don't hear it too much. It's ¡Qué barbaridad! ¡Qué barbaridad! And it means how awful. Often when we say how in an adjective, in Spanish it's que. In this case, barbaridad is really a noun. So it's like what an awful thing. So how many of those questions were you able to answer? Please put your answer in the comments section if you like. And I hope that they helped you to increase your ability to understand and ask questions better. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And the information is below the video to take classes with me. I teach private classes online, and I'd be happy to work with you and help you to improve your Spanish and conversational Spanish and whatever difficulties or challenges that you're having with the language, and help you to become more fluent. And just remember, millions of people speak Spanish fluently, and you will too.